10 to 15, maybe.
Okay. We wanted to start the podcast off with the Joe Budden situation, Spotify. He gone.
Gotcha. I'm ready.
And I feel like that was something that you would definitely be interested in.
I'm absolutely interested in it. Joe's smart. You get what I'm saying? So go ahead and introduce it. My fault. I tried to run away.
For those that have been living under a rock, Joe Budden has dropped 2 episodes back to back, 2 Wednesday and Saturday, describing his displeasure with Spotify and his plans for joining Spotify, what he got out of it, and basically it's coming to an end. Fuck Spotify, and yeah. So, like I said, Joe Budden spent 6 hours talking about this. So, just to break it down, it's kind of like Spotify. Apple Podcast was the big thing, and still is. Spotify came in, wanted to get the urban community involved, so they went at the Joe Budden podcast, the #1 podcast out in the urban community,
right,
to bring in certain fans. In doing that, they got everybody tuned in to Spotify for podcasts, thinking that the listeners would stick around and listen to the other exclusive podcasts that Spotify had to offer. Mm-hmm. Meaning just using Joe Budden as a way to let the other podcasters get their shit off in a way.
It's Joe Budden or nothing, bro.
Well, Spotify didn't understand that. Spotify figured that we would all stick around and listen to Ben Simmons' podcast. And
no, sir.
Listen,
no, sir.
A lot of them don't realize and understand the power. Because to be truthful, we don't understand the power that we have. So when Joe did what he did and said what he said, like you said, he tried to get the title. Hope said, "Nah, I'm not giving you that information." Cool. You get what I'm saying? Title isn't doing podcasts really right now, so I understand it. So who else are they going to go to? You know what I mean? Just doing it for yourself. Like you said, ownership. You get what I'm saying? He owns that. You get what I'm saying? So the fact that he's went through his trials and tribulations as a rapper and as an interviewer and as a, someone who runs a show, you get what I'm saying? It prepped him for this. You get what I'm saying? So for him from going from a rapper to Complex and, whatever deal happened at Complex is now he's well prepared for Spotify. You get what I'm saying? This is what I want. This is what y'all not going to do. And this is what has to happen in order for us to go. And like you said, it's not always about the money. It's about ownership. I own this. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all gonna offer me whatever X amount of dollars you want. But the simple fact is I own it. So it's not about that. So I respect what he's doing, and he's smart. And he had every right to say what he said about Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club. And everybody else. Which was basically like we're not fighting the same fight. Y'all y'all on a major radio station. You get what I'm saying? That y'all don't own. Y'all basically promoting a show that y'all don't own.
Like also with the Charlamagne situation, my bad, Jay, is that Charlamagne is attaching himself to a lot of businesses that he doesn't own. So it's not just the Breakfast Club, but Charlamagne will have a new show, but it won't be his show.
It'll like the little MTV shows and shit.
Right, shows that can be taken off TV without anybody telling you why.
Right.
And Joe and Charlamagne is like, Joe, you doing it wrong. And Joe Budden is looking at Charlamagne like, yo, we're not in the same fight because you're accepting the deals that I won't.
Right.
So you're in a whole different world. Get your money, get all your bags. Understand, you don't own now one show that you star in.
So is Joe Budden going to blackball himself though? Like being labeled as not too hard to work with, being that he's had failed relationships with.
I think Joe Budden's been there, honestly. And listening to what Jay was saying. Listening to what Jay was saying.
That's why I'm asking this question though, because now he's severing ties with Spotify. I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
Here's the whole thing. And so when you own something like that, when you own like the podcast that's popping as it is, at the end of the day, he doesn't need anybody. You get what I'm saying? He literally can throw that shit up on OnlyFans, and people instead of paying $12 a month for Spotify or whatever they're paying, they'll pay that monthly subscription on OnlyFans, bro, or YouTube. Like, so he's telling y'all people, all right, look, save yourself half the money you spend on that Spotify and come to YouTube. Pay for YouTube Premium instead of Spotify, because now he owns it. Before, Joe didn't own Complex. He didn't own Everyday Struggle. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, he didn't own his albums. He didn't own his music shit. He didn't own none of that. So now he has something that he owns. Yeah, you can blackball all day, but he doesn't need a machine. And that's basically what he's saying. I don't need the machine because, like he said, what can you do? What can you do when? What can you do? I got it. Appreciate it. What can you do when they can't offer you money? So when they can't throw money at you, you get what I'm saying? When they can't, you know, we're going to get you the slave for X amount of, you know what I mean, for a used watch, and you throwing money at people. Like MB said, I got a family. I got to take it. Like Scottie Pippen said, I got a family. I got to take it. So we're put in positions where we have to take deals that they're giving on top of, like, he doesn't need it. He has revolt. He has that revolt bag. You get what I'm saying? Rory has emotional oranges. He has that. You know what I mean? Maul is Rockefeller to the death. You know what I'm saying?
Maul is Memphis Bleak. He's good.
He's good. He's definitely good.
So you get what I'm saying? It's ownership. Like speaking on our part, we or Flaw, you get what I'm saying? Somebody from home team runs and owns this. You get what I'm saying? So whatever bag that we have that comes our way, we're all in a position where, you know, we can be comfortable with the fact that we all got jobs. We all have family and all that too. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, right. it's we're in control now. Like, you know, not to say we're not in control. We don't have the numbers that they have to be in control. So it would benefit us to sign a deal, whereas them, they don't need YouTube. Everybody just go to YouTube. They're doing it anyway.
And if we did sign a deal, it would be our best interest to mind our business of what Joe's doing, because like he said, it's a different fight.
Right.
You know, us four, we didn't have a platinum single like Joe Budden did. You know what I mean? Like a gold album, and Parks being an engineer, and like you said, Roy, like they had a head start. So they were privileged to having a YouTube channel with thousands of people ready to go. We don't have that. So if a podcast company came to us and said, hey, we want to do business with y'all, our negotiation would be a whole lot different. Right. I personally feel some type of way, man, because before the Joe Budden podcast, wasn't nobody promoting their podcast on Spotify. Nobody cared about Spotify when it came to podcasting.
Right.
You know, but the way it looked at, like, oh, Joe Budden is going over there. People love the Joe Budden podcast. You know, let's pump this Spotify thing out. We saw Spotify buy Anchor. We saw Spotify start purchasing so many different other podcast companies or podcasts. And we think
Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
They have Joe Rogan now, right?
But here's the thing: Joe Rogan content can stay on YouTube, so he's basically showing people how to negotiate the deals.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then, like he said about Virgil, he goes, "Yo, you come here talking about, you know, me and this, that, and the third. Little do you know, you could have went elsewhere for somebody that looked like us, and I was going to pay you more."
Mm-hmm.
So you calling me saying that you signed with Spotify is not a pat on the back. I'm not going to give you a
that wasn't Virgil, right? That was my man from TMZ.
I thought, that's not Virgil.
That's not Virgil.
Who is that?
Damn, what's my man name? Because he's the one that got into it with Kanye, right?
Yeah, Lathan or something.
Lathan, yeah.
Van.
Yeah, Van. Right.
Yeah. But the good thing about podcasts, though, like what Ant was saying about Joe being blackballed or whatever, the good thing about podcasts is it's not like regular media. We own this. Like, can't blackball us.
Right.
We can say whatever we want. Law's just going to just upload it. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Can nobody stop us from uploading? Can nobody stop him from uploading? Once he gets off Spotify, he can do what he want to do. Like, it's a reason why he didn't take any like sponsorships or anything, because he doesn't have to. But once this is over, he can take whatever sponsorship he wants if he wants to, or he can stay independent. He can still make money off of this.
Yeah,
like he has so many listeners, he got a lot of viewers, tour and stuff. Yeah. Like, is nothing that he can do would be a failure at this point in my eyes. Listen, you're going independent. You get to do, like, he created a fan base so large that he doesn't need a machine anymore.
Listen to the spooky numbers that I'm about to put out there, and I ain't pocket watching, but they keep telling you they do 1 million per episode. That's 2 episodes per week. That's 2 million plus over 1 million. So we talking 2 million per week. Can you imagine if they charge a monthly subscription of $5 to $10 a month to listen to them with their videos? Get access to the video, probably access to pull up or whatever for $5 a month, $5 to $10, and they can pocket all of that.
You can already do that on Patreon. Like there's a site called Patreon. You can do that right now. Like they can, soon as they get off Spotify, their very next episode could be on Patreon, and you have to subscribe to them and you have to pay for it. And even if they did, obviously everybody's not gonna pay for it. But say even if you took half of the people with you that paid for it, that's not like the numbers are nuts, man.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have nobody pay for a podcast because you shouldn't have to. Apple is free. Technically, Spotify is free. You don't like that premium service. If I'm a podcaster, like when Joe first got on Spotify, they had the free code, the Joe Budden code to become a premium member. For what? I'm not selling music. I'm a podcaster. So that didn't make sense.
But I
disagree with that, yo.
The free accounts versus the premium accounts, I think it reads different. Is the music too loud in the background?
Yes.
Yes.
My fault. So like I said, like the premium and the free accounts hit different when it comes to fanship. I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Drew, what you was going to say?
The reason I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I do see what you're saying, but I don't know. It's just a slippery slope. I don't know.
Because when you got Spotify, the free Spotify, you don't get access to playlists. You get still access to the music and every podcast on there.
Can't really control it though.
Yeah, but when you're an artist, like we say that now, but you can't say like say if we become popular. Yeah. Obviously, we just starting out. Say we become popular and our listeners become up to 1 million, and we have a chance to capitalize on that. You can't just sit here and say that you would never sell this podcast. Like you would never put it on Patreon so people can subscribe to it.
No. Oh yeah, that's what you're talking about. I'm not saying. Well, I'm saying
that's what it seemed like you said.
Okay, no. Well, I'm saying he could. What I was going to finish was they have enough content to charge.
Yes.
I personally just would not.
And the following.
Right.
Oh, yes. You obviously have to have a following first. Yes.
Yeah, you got to have a following.
I agree with that.
I'm saying Joe Budden has a podcast. They have Pull Up. They have the video. They have so much to offer for a price. But as far as just podcasting go, a typical fan can get on Apple Podcasts or get on YouTube or get on all these platforms for free. Now, I do know a podcast that took their podcast. They were getting thousands of down plays a week. They took their podcast off Spotify and Apple and went straight to Patreon. And every week, you know, the only way you can listen to their podcast ever is if you subscribe to their Patreon. That's fine. That is dope.
Yeah, I know a few podcasters like that, or some like they have a Patreon podcast every week, but they give the free ones out maybe like once a month.
Yeah. That's a fact. And I know a podcast that gives you 30 minutes free and the other half you got to pay. And that might be like a little, like they might turn up a little bit.
That's the fire half. You know what I'm saying?
They turn up a bit. Listen, y'all want to finish this podcast, head over to the Patreon.
Right. Because I'm about to say some shit.
Hey, Ant, give me a break, Ant. That thing do look good, though, baby.
I know.
That thing do look good. And,
Don't worry about all that.
Yeah. So, Spotify, back to Spotify. Like I said, I didn't think or care nothing about Spotify before the Joe Budden merger happened. And I actually tweeted this. I said this was like my favorite Joe Budden podcast episode. And the reason I said that is because of what Jarrell said in the group chat. I like information. He didn't say that verbatim, but the information part, I want to learn something.
Right.
If I'm dealing with you, you either going to make me laugh.
You're right.
Listen to everything I got to tell you, or teach me something. It's like it's not anything other than that. Either I'm learning from you or you learning from me, or we laughing.
Like if you're a podcaster and if you ever do plan on making any type of money off of what you're doing, you have to, I mean, you don't have to agree with everything that he said, but you still have to see what he's going through because he's the only one in our field right now that's going through it.
Yeah. But and to have a little conversation on what Ant was saying about the blackball. I want to see Joe Budden win, but I really think that this fight is for the people. I think that because he even said it on the podcast. Calls have been made. Don't mess with this guy. First off, he was blackballed in the industry. Don't mess with him.
I'm about to say he's always been like it's been like that for a while though.
Now you go to a different world where somebody Spotify might call another podcast, whoever, an investor, somebody who wasn't there in the Def Jam days, and they say, "Here comes Joe Budden. He's a headache. Don't do business with him." I can see that happening. That's what people do. And I think that with Joe Budden's energy, it's never is a strong word, but it's going to be hard to ever see him win. Because even when he did win, he wasn't winning. Remember, we was like, damn, Joe won. Remember, we was happy for him? Yeah. In reality, behind the scenes, Spotify wasn't doing it right.
I think he's going to win, though. I think it's time. I think he's going to win. I think he's done enough for him to win now. Like, there's nothing anybody can do. Because he's in a field, like I said, that nobody can be his boss anymore.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what they do, he doesn't have to have a boss anymore. As soon as you do that in any field, it's a wrap.
These 5 to 6 episodes are going to be the longest episodes of their career because I know they're excited and happy to be free.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Or their episodes could be just bullshit. They could just be like 5 parties, nigga. Like they could just be
talking about some other shit. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be up there high and drunk, nigga. I'll be chilling.
He got us all ready for it though. Like we want to see him win. So don't take me saying Joe might not win as that I don't want to see him win. I just know how the game go. And sometimes there's energy that you carry, and you will get blackballed because you really don't have no friends really in the industry. So
he has some.
Who?
Yeah,
him and M go at it. Him and Jay ain't the best of friends. He just made friends with Puff.
But you gotta think about it. For him to be at least invited, I think he was invited to the Rock Nation brunch, right? Plus Maul, and plus you gotta think about Maul being on that podcast. His connections enough. Like Joe, like at this point, when it comes to Jay-Z, he doesn't have to have a connection with Jay-Z. Maul has a connection with Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we talking something different because Joe Budden.
No, but we're talking about his podcast. I'm not talking about him personally. I'm just talking about him in business-wise, going forward with his podcast.
Yeah, I was talking about him.
He has enough connections for him to be successful.
Okay, he has connections, but he burnt bridges. He doesn't have.
He's definitely burnt bridges. Okay. Yeah, he definitely has.
That's all I was.
Yeah, you can't argue that shit. Yeah, he's definitely burnt bridges. He's like Joe Budden is the reason why he isn't a star. I already said that before because I'm a huge fan of his music. It's because of him. It's not because of talent.
It's because of him.
It has nothing to do with his talent.
Not to bring it up because it's old and corny, but when he did get punched in the face, the headlines read. Yes, they finally got him. That's what the headlines read. They didn't. Like the media, nobody likes Joe Budden. I'm telling you, that's what the shit said. Yes, they finally got him. Damn.
So what?
They finally got him.
That's funny, man. Shout out to
that's
Joe Budden.
That's because the way Joe was just hated by everybody because, like he says, I'm not one of these type of niggas that's going to do what I got to do for the industry and start talking and being friends with motherfuckers just for the shit of it. You get what I'm saying?
Jersey strong,
so like
nigga.
I'm not here to be your rap companion. I'm not here to be your rap friend. Bitch, I'm here if it's about business, I fuck with the real niggas, I fuck with the real niggas, cool. I say my highs and buys and I say what's up. But at the end of the day, you niggas want to lyrically spar, bitch, we can spar, let's go.
Remember that video?
I was about to say the same thing. That's the thing that killed everybody. Right. Everybody hated Joe, right?
Right.
But you couldn't say he couldn't rap though.
Because he rap his ass off. He could rap his ass off, yeah.
Like when it comes to like what the essence of what we're usually about and what we do, we're a hip hop podcast. Lyrics, beats. When it comes to that, there's not that many people that can outshine him. So just because of that alone, like you have to respect him even though you hate him.
And
like,
that's
the only
why
thing. Like rappers couldn't talk shit about him because the ones that talk shit about him, they got bars after that.
And Joe Budden,
and most of them didn't want to reciprocate the bars.
Right. And Joe Budden was one of those artists where I look at his career and I go, it's not as bad as it may seem. Some people say he flopped. Well, just like he said, he did pump it up. Def Jam put that song on the Fast and Furious soundtrack that moved almost gold in a week, and then his album dropped the next week. That's how you sabotage your own artist.
Right. Without even knowing it.
And I said that about State Property, where they had the Young Guns, right? They had a dope single out, but Dame go and put it on the State Property soundtrack. So by the time they album come out, their biggest single is already wore out off already being off the album.
So that's why you gotta have more clips and more bullets in the chamber.
Not everybody can make two, man. Just give me one.
They came up with two. No Better Love.
Yeah, but it wasn't bigger than
No Better Love.
One.
Still,
you know what I mean?
Remember, they had Busta Rhymes on Fire, right? Wasn't Fire the second single?
Fire.
What?
Oh, yeah, Joe Budden. Yeah, Fire.
I don't know why I heard Busta Rhymes. I don't know why I heard.
No, because I think he was on this.
Okay. I just heard Busta Rhymes. Say Busta Rhymes.
I'm
Fire.
saying, like, if you're gonna come off Pump It Up for Busta Rhymes to be on your next single and it's Fire and it's produced by Just Blaze, like you would think that would maybe not do Pump It Up, but like it'll be a hit also. It just wasn't a hit. Like it didn't catch.
It did.
So after that, that's where Joe was like, "Fuck trying to do singles and shit." Like he's not a single type of rapper. Like,
right? But
he's not a Pump It Up type of rapper. Like if you actually listen to his music, like he's not the type of person that you would think that would even make that song.
It just
if
sucks.
You actually listen to his real music.
Pump It Up is one of the biggest records of all time. No matter what.
You still hear it now. The shit was
playoffs. He don't get no
years
checks.
later.
They playing it in the bubble.
One check.
He gets still gets paid a little bit, but Pump It Up listen, he should be eating.
He still gets a check from Pump It Up.
He still gets a check, but not as big.
Not as he should, because he was getting fucked by the industry. But Joe is that type of artist that you love to hate, but like Jarrell said, you really can't. You get what I'm saying? Like niggas is real fans of Joe Budden, but niggas is scared to say they're fans of Joe Budden because he's too emotional. Nigga tries. Like I don't care what anybody said. If Drake would have replied, Drake would have won by popular demand. But bars wise, he would have lost.
Yeah, he was.
Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question because a battle popped in my head, and I'm mature enough to talk about this now.